What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Touchdown and Ties, the father-daughter sports podcast where she knows ball because he taught her. I'm your co-host, Brianna, the daughter of this duo.
What up, everybody? And I'm Keith, her dad, the other co-host.
In today's episode, we are going to be wrapping up the Divisional Round of the NFL playoffs. But before we do, if you haven't already, please go ahead and click that link below so you can follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. That way you get updated whenever we upload an episode. And of course, it also helps us out as well. All right, let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's do it.
I'd like to start off by saying that my predictions were all the way wrong. I had all the road teams winning last week, came in this week. The Rams saved the day for me because my credibility is shot because I was completely wrong. I thought I was going to start off strong on Saturday and it
was looking good.
It did not happen for me at all. But you had some predictions going and you got yours right. So that just proves the years of experience that you have in watching football versus me because I was clearly delusional.
Well, I got 3 out of 4. I had the Texans winning against New England, and that didn't happen. But
I was 1 for 4.
Right. Yeah.
So way better than me. Better than me. You passed the test. I didn't. Like we said, starting off with the Bills and the Broncos. I mean, I thought that the Bills were going to take the game the way that it started, but I feel like we can't talk about the game without starting to talk about Josh Allen. Everybody wants to talk about how bad CJ Stroud played. No one's talking about how bad Drake May played. Josh Allen played terrible for that game.
He did. Yeah. Yeah. They get Josh Allen to pass a lot, but it's hard to give him a pass in this game. I mean, his play ultimately is what led them to lose the game. I mean, it was a common thing that happened in the 4 playoff games this weekend.
Yeah.
The team who lost the turnover battle lost the game. Both Buffalo and Houston turned the ball over 5 times. San Francisco and Chicago turned the ball over 3 times.
Right.
All 4 of those teams lost the game. I mean, you can't turn the ball over when you get to the playoffs. You can't turn the ball over and expect to win when the competition is good, the level of play is extremely high, and you give teams extra possessions. It's just not a recipe for success when you get to the playoffs. And I thought the biggest play in that Buffalo-Denver game was right before halftime. I mean, the Broncos had just scored to make it 17-10. 20 seconds to go in the half. Buffalo didn't have any timeouts. And instead of just taking a knee, going to the locker room, regrouping, come out in the second half and be ready to go, they tried to run a play. And Josh Allen gets the ball stripped, scrambling out of the pocket. The ball comes loose. The Broncos were able to pick it up and recover it with like 2 or 3 seconds to go. Enough time
to snap the ball and kick a field goal.
Kick a field goal. Yeah. And that going into the locker room, instead of being down 7, now, you're down 10. So I thought for me, that was a key moment in that game.
Right. And then I want to say when they came back from halftime, the Bills' first possession, they turned the ball over again. And then they were able to, I believe the Broncos in that situation, were they able to get more points off of that one as well?
I think they kicked the field goal in that situation.
Yeah,
and
I think
they made
goal.
it 23-10. And then I said at that point, I thought that was a big moment now for Buffalo because they were able to stop them from getting a touchdown, going up 17, and now they're only down 13, which was only 2 plays that the Bills needed to make to retake the lead. And ultimately,
which they did.
That's what they did. Yeah. But then another interception on that controversial play.
Do you think that was an interception?
Overtime. The referees call it an interception. I don't, know the rule book in detail. I mean, I saw at least 2 or 3 current or former officials say, detail what the rule was, and therefore it was an interception. So, I mean, I'm going to have to say it was an interception. I don't know. Yeah. I think the problem that fans have is that you just want it to be consistent. Because we saw like the Devontae Adams in the game against Chicago, a similar play, and they said that it was a catch. And it's just like, okay, I don't know what the rule is, but I just want it to be consistent. If it's an interception in one game, why is it a catch in the other game? And ultimately that proved to be a pivotal play in that game because once he threw that interception, the Broncos got the ball back and,
they were able to.
It was game.
Yeah. Because at that point, they both had a possession. So it's next score wins the game because the Bills defense did well. They forced the Broncos to have a punt on their first possession in OT. And then again, you get on the offensive side of the ball again. And Josh Allen, I guess, technically throws another interception, if that's what we're calling it during that moment. And it was just another chance for the Broncos to come back and score.
And it was unfortunate because, Buffalo was running the ball effectively throughout the whole game. And I guess the narrative that I have a problem with the whole Josh Allen thing is that they keep saying that the guy doesn't have any help.
Mhm.
James Cook led the league in rushing throughout the
Yes.
season. James
Yes.
Cook in this game had over 100 yards rushing against a very good defense. So it was like, it's not all on Josh Allen. Josh Allen just likes to play hero ball. And when it works, it's fine. But
It's
when
as
it doesn't
praises.
work,
Yeah.
you see what happens or whatever. So I mean, I think that's the problem that I have with everybody just saying that he doesn't have any help, because he does have help. The defense is pretty good. I mean, are they like a lights out defense? No, but they're pretty good defense and they played
Mhm.
decent in this game. I mean, for me, going into the game, I said that it probably wouldn't be a lot of points scored because both defenses were pretty good. Well, I was wrong about that. I mean, both teams scored at least 30 points in this
Yeah.
game. But
Right.
it wasn't because Josh Allen didn't have any help. You can't turn the ball over. I think he turned the ball over 4 times.
4 times out of their 5 turnovers, he was responsible for 4 of
He was
them.
responsible for 4 of them. You just
Yeah,
can't
can't do that.
overcome
You
that.
cannot do
You
that,
know,
yeah.
when you playing against a good team, it's hard to make up for those extra possessions that you give the other team. They had already turned the ball over, I think at this point, maybe 3 times or whatever it was. And I said it's going to be hard for Buffalo to win the game unless their defense can create a turnover and get a score. And
And they
sure enough,
did.
that's what they did. They got the
Right when you
interception.
texted it, that's exactly what happened.
She
Yeah.
read what I
It's like,
text
"Can
you.
you predict
Yeah,
the future?" I was like, "Dang, dude."
they got the interception, and then on that possession, they took the lead. I
They
was
took
like,
the
"Okay,
lead.
they got
Yeah.
exactly what they needed." Did they take the lead or maybe they didn't take the lead on that possession. Maybe that was the possession where Josh Allen threw an
Mhm.
interception again, trying to be greedy, and he threw the
Mm.
interception down the middle, and it wiped out what the defense had done. But at any
Yeah.
rate, he just made a lot of mistakes. I mean, Josh Allen is a great
Yeah.
quarterback.
Y
He gets a lot of grace in the
a
media.
lot. A
Uh,
lot. Yeah,
you
and I don't
know,
know why, but
grace that other quarterbacks don't get, but he made a lot of mistakes. And, you
yeah.
see what happens when,
Yeah.
you get bad play by your quarterback, you get some controversial calls by the officials. I mean, the problem that I had with the officials wasn't so much the interception. I mean, they said it was an interception again. I don't know the
Mhm.
rule. The problem that I had was the pass interference penalties that they called. It was like,
Buffalo
okay,
at the end there in
yeah.
overtime, yeah,
I'm
that
like,
was a bit I'm like, "Okay, let's settle this down."
it could have been pass interference, but you also could have called pass interference on a lot of things
Uh,
throughout the course of the
yeah,
game.
and you didn't.
Against Denver and
Right.
on one of Buffalo's last drives or whatever, there was a potential pass interference penalty that they didn't call. So
Mhm.
I'm like, why are we calling pass interference in overtime? I mean, I guess
Yeah,
you have to make the call, but the point is,
right.
again, there's no
Again,
consistency
consistency, yeah, with the
with it.
officiating.
It was like, oh, you're giving these
Yeah.
guys the game at that point.
Yeah, and that's probably
You're
why the
giving the guys
player
the game.
crashed out to the ref at that point. He knew the game was over, the season was over,
It
and
was
he's just
over.
like,
Yeah.
"Whatever,"
It was over.
whatever, because
Yeah.
they at that point, they were already deep in field goal range. They're probably gonna kick a
Right.
field goal anyway, so at that point, me getting the penalty is not gonna really affect anything.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
But also on that penalty, I guess, I need to take a step back because even if they didn't call the pass interference on Tre'Davious White, they would have
Mhm,
called roughing the passer on Joey Bosa anyway. He got called for a roughing the passer
mhm,
penalty that they declined because they also
because
had
of
the
yeah,
pass interference. So, they
okay,
still would have gotten at least 15 yards on that play
right,
anyway.
right,
But just have some consistency with the
right,
officiating.
yeah.
And this is why for me, I don't blame the refs when teams lose because there's so many things that you can
Are
go
there
back and
opportunities throughout the game?
point to like, hey, I mean, Josh
He
Allen
had
missed a
4
wide open
turnovers.
tight end. Yeah, you had 4 turnovers, but then he missed. Yeah, I think it was their last drive in regulation before they settled for the field goal. I mean, his tight end was wide
Wide
open
open,
and
yeah,
he missed them. If
yeah,
he connects with that pass, all of this stuff that we're talking about with the officials don't happen.
it's a mid point, yeah,
It's a
yeah,
mute point. So you can't blame the
yeah.
officials. You just didn't do enough to win the game.
Yeah, and now Sean McDermott is out as their head coach. I
Yeah,
kinda
yeah,
brought that up in earlier
yeah.
episodes. There was speculation from people on the internet that if the Bills don't do it this year because of basically being handed the path to the Super Bowl on a silver platter compared to previous years,
Right.
he didn't get it done. Do you think that that was a good decision for them to fire the head coach? I mean, because they kept saying, "Oh, you have Josh Allen, you've lost in these many AFC
Yeah,
championship games, these many divisional rounds, these many wild card rounds, and you still can't get it done." Do you think that
yeah.
just comes down onto the head coach? I mean, because I feel like you can't blame him in this game, particular again,
Right.
because we keep talking about Josh Allen's performance.
It's gonna be hard. I mean, this guy was with the team for 9 years. They won the
Yeah.
division 5 times. They made the playoffs, I think, 8 times. Combined, I think he has over 100 victories, regular season and postseason. So, I mean, the guy's a great coach. So it's gonna be difficult to replicate that with a new coach.
And then
Obviously, you're not going to get rid of Josh Allen, so there's somebody's going to have to take the fall when things don't work out the way that
Mhm.
ownership
Wants it to
wants
work
them to
out.
work out.
Yeah.
And in this case, it was Sean McDermott. I mean, their
Yeah.
situation is kind of similar to the Michigan situation in college, where you getting it, into the game a little late in the process
Mhm.
because you're the second, third week or whatever it is of the playoffs or whatever. And other teams have already started interviewing guys. I mean, a couple teams have already hired coaches,
Hired.
but there's still some good coaches out there. But McDermott had a very successful tenure with
Mm.
the Bills. They just didn't get over the hump with the Chiefs not being there, with the Ravens not being there. I mean, people thought
Burrow's
that,
not there.
like you
Yeah.
said, the path is wide open for the Bills to get there, and it just didn't happen. But it'd be interesting to see who they um, will go out there and get.
Yeah, at this
Now
point.
that the season is over, now that they fired their coach, it'd be interesting to see again. Like I
Yeah.
say, a couple guys have already been hired. It's going to be a good job for somebody. You have a
Yeah.
franchise quarterback in place. You have a pretty good surrounding cast around him. I get that they need some wide receivers on their team or whatever, but that Buffalo job would be a very attractive job for somebody. So I don't
For
think they'll
sure.
have any problems hiring somebody.
Yeah. And the other big news out of this game as well was Bo Nix getting injured. And I feel like that stings for both teams in a way, right? Because for the Bills, yes, you lost. You're not celebrating somebody's injury, but what are the Broncos' chances now going into this AFC Championship game next week? And then if you're a Broncos
Right.
fan, it's like our quarterback is hurt. So what are our chances of even getting to the Super Bowl? If we do get to the Super Bowl, what are our chances of winning that now our quarterback is out?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I've
Yeah.
seen it happen before
Yeah.
where a starting quarterback get hurt late in the season or in the playoffs and the backup come in and actually lead the team to the Super Bowl. I saw
Yeah.
it back in the 80s with Jeff Hostetler, who played for the Giants. Phil
Mhm.
Simms got hurt. I know you don't know who these people are, but he got
Never
hurt.
heard
And
of him.
Jeff Hostetler came in and he managed the game. They had a great defense, a great run
Yeah.
game, and they actually won the Super Bowl. They ended up
Yeah.
beating, I think that was the year they beat the Bills.
Yeah.
And then I saw it again with Nick Foles here
Mhm.
with Philly recently. Carson Wentz got hurt late in the season. Nick Foles had to come in and again, you have a team with a great defense. You have a team with a really solid running game, and all he had to do was manage the game, and he was able to do that. So I guess what I'm saying is that it's possible,
Right.
but this guy, Jarrett Stidham, I think is his name.
Stidham, yeah.
Stidham, yeah. I mean, he hasn't played in 2 years. He hasn't
Yeah,
taken a
I've
snap during the regular
never
season in
heard
2
of him.
years. So
Yeah.
to have to come in and do this against a New England team that has a great defense, it's going to be a challenge. It's going
Yeah.
to be a challenge, man. I mean, I don't want to say the guy don't have a chance because as long as you play and you suit up, you have an opportunity to win. Who
Right.
knows what could happen?
Right.
Maybe Drake may have another game where he turned the
Another
ball
bad
over 3
game.
times. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the Broncos are able to capitalize on it. So who knows? But definitely, it's going to be a lot harder. It's unfortunate that Bo Nix got hurt.
Mm.
I think it robbed us of potentially maybe seeing a great game
A good game,
between
yeah,
New England and Denver, but it could still be a good game. Who knows? So,
for sure.
but it's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Let's transition over to the other Saturday game, the 49ers and the Seahawks. So subtle foreshadowing. After that 95-yard opening kickoff touchdown, the Seahawks did not need to score again because the 49ers kicked 2 field goals.
Yeah,
That could have been game, right? That was game right there. It really
yeah,
was. Because, I
yeah.
mean, that was just an unbelievable performance in the worst way possible from the 49ers. I wasn't expecting them to just blow it like that.
Well, to me, I mean, I watched football for a long time. Obviously,
Yeah,
I've
okay.
I've never seen an atmosphere that electric
That was
before
crazy.
the
Those
game
fans
before the
were
game even started.
I
I
mean,
mean, the 12s in
the 12s
Seattle
were crazy.
were incredible. I mean, I've been to a
Mhm.
game in Seattle before. It
Yeah,
was
you
during the
have.
regular season, and those fans were crazy for a Monday night game.
Yeah.
This what I saw on Saturday night was on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
they took the opening kickoff back for a touchdown,
That was it.
I was like, the game is over. The
Mind you,
game
it's been going
is
for, like,
over.
30 seconds.
The
The clock
game
says
is
14 minutes,
over.
30 seconds. Game is over.
Yeah.
First quarter. That's
I was
crazy.
like, if the 49ers don't come out and answer this with a touchdown, game is over. The
Yeah.
game is over.
And it
And it
was.
pretty much
It
was.
was. I mean,
It
they
pretty
had
much was.
no answers for anything because you talk
They
about
had no
how
chance.
the
Yeah.
Seahawks were playing amazing in all 3
Yeah.
phases. The
Yeah.
49ers were not clicking in any of those 3 phases. It was just it was
Yeah.
complimentary football in a way because I was like, "You're not gonna do
It
nothing. I'm not gonna
was.
do nothing. I'm gonna do something. I'm
It
gonna do
was.
something," because Everybody was playing on the same level. I was like, "What?" It looked like Pee Wee football team playing a pro team because they
It
had
did.
no answers for this team. And they just played them in Seattle, right? Was that the team that the
Yeah,
49ers
the
played?
last the
Yeah,
last
the
Sunday night
last
game.
game.
It was
And
last Sunday night game.
that
Yeah, yeah,
was an
yeah,
insane game, an insane win for the
yeah,
Seahawks. So they're probably still hyped up off of that win.
yeah,
And the 49ers came out all, and then y'all kicked 2 field goals.
yeah.
That was just unreal. I that was the extent of my notes for that game. I mean,
Seattle scored 41 points in this game.
yeah.
Sam Darnold only passed for 124 yards.
Yes.
He
Yes.
only
So
passed for
they
124
yeah.
yards. I
Yeah.
mean, it was such a dominant game by the Seattle defense that, again, once they got that extra boost from that
Mhm.
kickoff return, I mean, if the 49ers didn't come back out and do something dramatic of their own, it was ball
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
It was ball game. I mean,
Yeah.
Seattle felt that much superior to the 49ers in this game. I mean, you
Mhm.
figure, the 49ers had a lot of injuries. George Kittle didn't play, obviously, or whatever in
Right.
this game or whatever. But they had no chance,
They
man.
had no
They
chance at
just
all.
had
They had no
no
chance.
chance,
And usually when
you
a team
know?
becomes one-dimensional, because like you talked about how Sam Darnold didn't even pass for that many yards, that's
Yeah.
usually an advantage for you because you know what they're gonna do, which is kinda the same thing with the Texans game against the Patriots. But in
Yeah.
this situation, it worked extremely well for the
Yeah.
Seahawks because, like you said, Sam Darnold was hurt. His lone touchdown pass was to Jackson Smith and Jigba, but that was all he really had during the game. Everything else was from the defense and then on the ground from the offense.
Yeah. The defense and that special teams play was the difference in this game. The
Yeah.
offense didn't have to do much. They just had
Yeah.
to not mess things up, if you will, because they were being handed things basically on a
On a
silver
silver
platter
platter. Yep.
throughout that whole game, and they
Yeah.
did what they needed to do. I mean, Darnold didn't have to be spectacular. Kenneth Walker did rush for over 100 yards in that game. They didn't have to do anything spectacular. Just don't mess things up. Don't beat yourselves in that
Mhm.
situation because the defense was doing so well. The special teams was doing so well. Just don't beat yourself, and they didn't. And
Yeah.
the 49ers just didn't have any chance in that game. None.
Yeah.
None.
No notes on
None.
that one. That's it.
Really, it's
That's
really,
really
I
it.
mean, there's really nothing else you could say about
Talk
it. It
about it.
was, it was, they just didn't have a chance in that game. The
Yeah.
game
Yeah.
was over from the opening kickoff.
Yes.
It was over. It was over.
Let's look at the Texans and the Patriots. You had the Texans being your dark horse to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So CJ Stroud had a rough game last week in the wild card game. He had a rough game this week in the divisional round. He had a lot of interceptions, a lot of turnovers, but so did Drake May. But everybody's focusing on CJ Stroud because they lost Drake May. They won, whatever. But it was just not a good performance. And there's been some debate about what Troy Aikman was saying during the game about how CJ Stroud has been chasing that glory of his rookie year pretty much since he got into the league, and he has been able to live up to that standard. And people were saying that was harsh. And I'm like, what's harsh about it? It's true. It's literally true. But he had his best year, his rookie year in the league, and he hasn't been able to replicate that since. You can't have your quarterback making those kind of mistakes 2 games in a row in the postseason and still expect for your defense and everybody else around it to continue helping you out.
Yeah, that's true. Two things about that. I mean, first of all, Troy Aikman was right. He has been chasing that success that he had as a rookie, but I don't think that was a shot necessarily at CJ. I thought maybe he was taking a shot maybe at the coaching staff a little bit,
Yeah,
maybe the offensive
yeah,
coordinator, not
yes,
putting him in the best positions to be
yes,
successful. That's what I thought. I didn't take it as a shot at CJ. That's number
yeah,
one. Number
yeah,
two, I mean, I wasn't criticizing CJ Stroud after the Pittsburgh game last week, but people in the comments were like, "Oh, he had a great game. Oh, he did this, he did." I was like, no,
yeah. No, we
he
didn't.
didn't.
No, we
The
didn't.
defense bailed him out because
Yes,
of the competition. I mean, the
right.
Steelers were not as good as the Texans. And I said, he's going to have to play better because the competition is going to be better
And you
the
did say
further he
that.
goes along in the playoffs. And look
And
what
look what
happened.
happened. Right.
I mean, the guy had 7 turnovers in a game and a half.
A game and a half.
Because by
Yeah.
halftime, he had turned the ball over 4 times. He had 4
3 or 4
interceptions.
times. Yeah.
He turned the ball over 3 times in the game against the Steelers. So
Mm.
in 6 quarters of playoff football, he had 7 turnovers.
Yeah, that's not
So I
okay.
was like, "This not gonna be good enough to beat a team like New England who, 14-3 throughout the regular season. They're not the Steelers, right? They're a
Mm-mm.
better team than the Steelers."
Right.
And people were just like, up in arms, thought, I was being too harsh on him because, hey, he did well on third down against the Steelers. I'm like, man, who cares about
Yeah.
that?
Right.
I'm pretty sure if you talked to CJ Stroud about his performance against the Steelers, he would have said he needed to play better. And that's
Better.
all I said. He needed to play
Yeah.
better. I mean, heck, I picked the Texans to go to the Super Bowl, so I wanted the guy to play better. But it
Right.
just didn't happen. It just
Right.
didn't
Yeah.
happen. And
Yeah.
it's unfortunate because that defense was incredible.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
They giving him the side eye for sure. And
Yeah.
comment that Troy Aikman was saying, he was acknowledging that there needs to be some more development in his quarterback position. So it was,
Yeah.
to me, it was implying that there's something going on with the coaching staff, that you're not able to develop your quarterback into this franchise player that you want him to be. And his
Hmm.
plateau can't be his first year, because the first year we thought like,
Can't
oh
be.
my God, like CJ Stroud, he's bringing the Texans back around and the franchise
Yeah.
is going to get better. And that just has not been the case, because like you said, you can't have that kind of performance against, you can get away with it with a team like the Steelers. No offense to the
Yeah.
Steelers. You can get away with a team like that. But you can't get away with it with a team like the Patriots, because the game wasn't that high scoring. It wasn't a low scoring game by any means, but at a certain point, Texas defense was still bailing CJ Stroud out a lot
They
throughout
did.
that game, even after a lot of those
Absolutely.
turnovers. But like, you can't keep asking them to do that the whole time. Again, complimentary football. So if I'm doing my part, I need you to do your part. And he just wasn't
Yeah.
doing that during the game at all.
Well, and to your point, I mean, the Texans turned the ball over 5 times. The Patriots only scored 7 points, and that 7 points was a pick six that he threw. I don't know what the heck he was doing with that one pass. He just threw the ball up in the air when he was about to get sacked or whatever, and the guy intercepted it in return for a touchdown. So, yeah, I mean, the defense was still trying to bail him out, but it was just too much to overcome. I mean, the thing that helped against the Steelers was that the defense, the Texans defense scored 2 touchdowns.
Right.
So even though the final score of that game was what, 30-6, 30-3, whatever it was, I don't remember. The defense scored 2 touchdowns in that game. So the defense pretty much almost scored half the points that they scored against the Steelers, because they scored 30. The defense accounted for 14 of those. In
Yeah.
this game, the defense, even though they were stopping the Patriots when the offense was turning the ball over, the defense
Right.
wasn't, they couldn't score to help
Right.
balance it out a little bit.
Yeah.
So it just came down to poor play by the quarterback. I know
Yeah.
it's a team game and everybody want to say that we win as a team, we lose as a team, but the quarterback
It gets
just
to a
played
point.
poorly in this game, man. People can talk about the injuries. This didn't have anything to do with Nico Collins not being
No.
there. This didn't have anything to do with losing Dalton Schultz in the first half. Didn't have
Yeah.
anything to do with the offensive line. CJ Stroud just made bad decisions, and
Right.
it
Yeah.
came back to haunt them. It came back
Yeah.
to bite them, and it cost them the game.
Yeah.
Just that simple.
And I wonder if that was, like, part of the Patriots' game plan, because they limited the Texans to 8 rushing yards for 12 carries in the first
Yeah,
half alone, and so
yeah,
that forced the Texans to become one-dimensional, because you couldn't keep the game on the ground. You had to do what you needed to do in the air, and if
mhm,
they were anticipating CJ Stroud to have the same game that he did against the Steelers, against the game that they did last night, that was a very successful game plan, because they knew he was struggling with throwing the balls,
yeah,
but I don't know. It worked out for him for sure, because the Texans defense, they only gave up about 17 points per game in the regular season, and they gave up 3 touchdowns in this game too.
yeah,
It just wasn't working out for the Texans, but I
yeah.
do feel like a lot of that came down to good old CJ.
It was a bad performance by the quarterback. I just don't think he liked playing in the cold weather. I mean,
There we go.
that's what I think it is. I don't think he likes playing in the cold weather. I've said this several times before or whatever. I'm
Mhm.
hyper focused on the Lions. I
Yeah.
watch every Detroit Lions game, right?
Yes.
I don't watch every Houston Texan game. I don't.
Right.
I watch highlights. I see stuff like that. But I just don't think the kid like playing in the cold weather.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think he like playing in the cold, man. I mean, because in the times that I have watched him play, like when they're playing on prime time, Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night, whatever,
For
and I
sure.
watch the game, he plays decent football.
Yeah.
But 2 games that I watched in the playoffs when it was cold in
A little
Pittsburgh, it
frigid
was cold in
outside.
New England. I was like, maybe he just don't like. And I remember the game back in college when they
Mhm.
played against Michigan, and when Michigan beat them in Ann Arbor, and it was snowing and cold outside. He played a decent game, but I still think that he's affected by
By
the
cold
cold
weather.
weather. That's what I
Cold
think. I
weather.
could be wrong, but that's
Yeah.
I guess this is me just trying to make an excuse for him as to maybe why he played poorly or whatever, but
Yeah.
I just think it has something to do with the weather, man. I do. I know
Yeah.
he's a California kid or whatever. I think who wants to play when
Yeah.
it's freaking 10 degrees outside?
Not all Cali kids are opposed to playing in the cold, because the Rams went into a polar vortex and they
Yeah.
beat the Bears. I was going to have a conniption the Bears were going to come back and win because it was 18 seconds left. And then this
Yeah.
man is throwing a 45-yard pass or whatever craziness it was. He basically got pushed back all the way to midfield, throw the
Yeah.
ball out, boom, completion to your tight end in the end zone. I was like, I am fit to be tired of this team. I said, this can't be their narrative all year. I have never been a Rams fan. I told you, I'm a generational hater. I'm like, Matthew, I need you to have the game of a lifetime right now. I said, please. And they lost. I don't want to root for anybody's downfall, but I am still salty. And I was just like, okay, there we go.
Yeah. A lot to unpack from that game, man. I mean, the Bears lost, but Caleb Williams, man. I mean,
It's a great quarterback.
and hear me when I say this. I'm not comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, but some of the plays that I saw this guy make throughout the season and the playoffs reminded me of Pat Mahomes when Patrick Mahomes first came into the league. He was doing things that people were like, "Wow, did you see that? Never saw
Yeah.
that before." I mean, some of the plays that Caleb Williams was able to make during
Yeah.
this stretch for the Bears when they were coming back in the fourth quarter, winning all these games, kind of reminded me of Pat Mahomes. So I'm not
Are you
saying he's
Chris
going to go
Collinsworth or
on
are you
and
my father? Well, who are you? You're praising
I'm
Pat
not.
Mahomes. We're not even talking about the
I'm not
Chiefs.
praising necessarily Pat Mahomes. I'm kind of like in a backhanded way. I'm kind of giving Caleb Williams a compliment or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%,
so like
100%.
if you're a Bears fan, you got the right coach, you got the right
Yeah.
quarterback. I mean, because you remember coming into the season, everybody was just like, Caleb Williams is a bust. He's
Yeah,
not gonna be able to
yeah,
get it done. And I was like, it's been 2 years, man. Get a guy
yeah.
a
Calm
chance, right?
down. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And I mean, if you're a Bears fan, man, you may have lost this game, but the
yeah.
future
It's very
looks
bright
bright. It
in
looks bright for you
Chicago.
guys, man. I'm a
Uh-huh.
Detroit Lions fan. I'm not a Chicago Bears fan at
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
But man, Caleb Williams looks scary, man. The
yeah.
Bears look scary. I mean, I definitely thought once they came back, tied the game up, it went to overtime, and they
Got the
stopped the
stop.
Rams on that first
I was like,
possession. I said,
"That's it.
Bears about to
I
win.
said, "Bears about to win the game." Unfortunately, he got
Yeah,
the interception at the end there, but
yeah. He
and
just
it
got
flipped the
greedy on
game.
that play.
Yeah,
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 but
but I
before
was just
that,
like,
he converted those third downs with it, running the ball with his leg. He
mhm,
converted 3rd and 7 or something like that. That first third down, then he came back and converted another third down. Now
yeah,
they got the ball at midfield, and I'm
yeah,
like, 15 more yards, man. They're gonna kick a field goal and win the game. And then he threw
yeah,
the interception. So it
yeah.
was like,
That's what LA needed.
yeah, it was what LA needed. I mean, because they knew in that situation that if they gave the ball back to Chicago, Chicago probably
Yeah,
was gonna win the game.
they're gonna win the game.
But it was a great game. I think it was a humbling experience. I think a lot of people was actually happy to see Ben Johnson lose because he's come
Yeah,
across as being a little arrogant and cocky this season or whatever. So I think a lot of people was happy to see him lose and get humbled a little bit, if you will.
yeah.
To me, I mean, I wanted the Rams to win, not because I'm a Rams fan. I was hating a little bit on the Bears because I'm a
I was
Lions
I was a
fan. I
hater.
didn't,
Kendrick taught me
I
how to
didn't,
be a hater. Kendrick and
yeah,
50 Cent have
I
taught me that
didn't
it is
want,
okay to be a hater. So
yeah.
I'm a hate.
I didn't want
But
to see the Bears make it to the Super Bowl before the
no,
Lions.
no,
It's just that
no.
simple.
And
You
not with Ben
know,
Johnson in his first year. Like,
I
no,
did
I
with Ben
can't. I was
Johnson
like,
because I didn't. Yeah,
ugh,
yeah.
can't
I
do
didn't
it.
want the same thing that happened with Ben Johnson that happened with Matt Stafford. Matt
Yes.
Stafford left the first year and he went to the Super
The
Bowl and
Super
won a Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
Yeah. And won.
I would have had a hard time if the same thing happened with Ben
Yes.
Johnson leaving the Lions and then this first year he take the Bears to the Super Bowl. So just for
Yeah, I
that
would.
reason, selfish
Yeah.
reasons, not because I'm rooting for the Rams, because I'm
No.
not. I'm not a
Yeah.
Rams fan either. I just didn't want to see Chicago win.
No. It was
That's just the
that
way
for
it's
me, and
what
I
it
was
is.
like, man, I was like, I need a one win in the win column this week. I said, man, all three of
Yeah.
my teams lost. If I was playing betting and parlay, I'd be broke. I was like, because all my teams lost. So I was like, I need the Rams to do something. And they
You
did.
know,
But
but again, having said that, man, I think the future is very bright for the Bears. I really
yeah,
do.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think Caleb Williams, although they lost the game, I think the Bears are going to get better. He had a good season this year, not a great
Mm,
season.
mm,
He still needs to improve as a quarterback, especially like with his completion percentages and that sort of thing.
for
So
sure.
I only think he's going to get better, which is
Yeah.
a scary thought if you're a Detroit Lions fan, right?
Yeah,
Because
I
they play
know.
in the same division, right? So I mean,
Yeah. You don't see him every year,
I
twice a year.
we're gonna see them. They beat, the Lions beat the Bears twice this season, which is good, I guess. Okay,
Great.
I don't know. It didn't really
It
mean
don't mean
anything. The Lions
anything.
didn't make the playoffs,
But now we
but
all going to
yeah,
Cancun. So, pull up a
yeah,
chair.
we're all on vacation together now. We just got a couple week head start.
Yeah.
So
My tan
yeah,
is just
but
a little bit better than yours right now.
yeah, yeah. So good for them. I mean, they had a good
Yeah.
season. The crowd in Chicago was incredible too. I mean, out there in all that cold weather when they showed up for the
Yeah.
Bears. So I think moving forward, man, it's going to be exciting to see what happens in that
Yeah.
division with the Bears, the Packers, the Lions, the Vikings. I mean, all four of those teams had winning records this year.
Yeah. It's not a
So
bad it's not a bad
it's going to be
division.
exciting to see, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well, now going into the respective divisional championship round, we have Mike versus Sean and then Mike versus Sean for the head coaches. I don't know if you saw that because the Seahawks are playing the Rams. So you have Mike McDonald versus Sean McVay, and then you have
Right.
Mike Vrabel playing Sean Payton.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't see that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I thought to myself, well, if the Bills would have won, then you would have had Mike Vrabel and then Sean
McDermott.
McDermott. So it would have
Wow.
been still been Sean. So I thought that's
Yeah.
pretty funny. So that's what we
Yeah. That's
got in
pretty
the
cool.
divisional championship
Yeah.
coming up here in
Yeah.
the
I didn't
see.
even think about that. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's pretty cool,
So the
right?
moral of the story is if you're out there looking for a coach right now, man, get you a coach
Mike or
named
Sean.
Mike or a coach named Sean. You have some success.
You had some success. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we got. Who do you have for the NFC? I don't even know. I don't even know because this is the third time these teams are playing just same way the Seahawks. They played the 49ers. Both of these teams have beat each other once. I want to say the Seahawks won the most recent matchup between the two. I think the Rams won the first time and then the
They
Seahawks won the
did.
second time.
It's two pretty good games. I mean, and that
Two,
last matchup that they had was in week 16, that
yeah,
Thursday
it
night,
was
one of the games of
overtime.
the year. Well, one of the games
Mm-hmm.
of the year. The Rams
Yeah, it
were
was an
winning
amazing
30 to
game.
14. Seattle came back in the fourth quarter, 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions, tied the game up, went to overtime. Rams scored, made it 37 to 30. Seattle then get the ball, they score, get the touchdown, and go for two and win the game. So pretty good game.
Did you just
Pretty
been
good
able to
game.
just like roll that off of your brain right now? I'm like,
I just
I
remember
barely
it.
remember
Yeah.
the score. I just know it was overtime and it
Yeah.
was like a 1 point difference
Yeah.
in the game.
And for as well as the Seahawks defense have played, I mean, Matt Stafford in that game, that last game, he passed for like 450 yards. Puka Nacua had over 200 yards receiving.
It's crazy freaking duo
You
that they
know,
got there, man. That's just
yeah.
unfair. It's
So the
unfair.
Rams have had some success against that Seahawk defense,
Mhm.
but I think coming into this game with the energy that that crowd is going to bring on Sunday afternoon, the Rams have gone on the road now. They beat the Panthers in the
Mhm.
wild card round, a good game. They went to Chicago. Nobody really thought that the Rams were going to be able to go to Chicago and win that game
Yeah.
at frigid Soldier Field, and they did. So the Rams, they have a chance here.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately, I think the Seahawks will win that game.
Okay.
And then I think
I'm
that
I'm a
the Patriots will beat Denver because there's no
because
Bo
the
Nix.
quarterback situation,
I think
yeah.
the Patriots will win that game.
Yeah. Imma stick beside the Rams. I've been saying the Rams since the beginning of the season. So I'm not gonna flip now and be a prisoner of the moment because of how hyped that the crowd has been in Seattle. Imma stick with Stafford and them, and Imma say that
Yeah,
they're gonna win, and then I also think the Patriots are gonna beat the, Broncos, so we'll
beat the
see.
Broncos. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think when the playoffs started, I had picked the Rams and the Titans, but I reserved the right to change my mind after the playoffs have started here. I think Seattle, if that
Yeah.
defense, if they play the way they play on Saturday, I don't care who it is, nobody's going to beat Seattle. But it's going to be hard to have that same type of energy, that same type of momentum carry over from one week to the next.
Yeah.
But I think
I
the crowd
mean,
will be there. I think Seattle will be hyped. The defense will play a little bit better. I mean, because the first time they played the Rams, I think Stafford only had like 130 yards passing. So whatever they
mhm.
did in that first matchup, maybe they need to try to replicate it again
Right.
on Sunday and do
Yeah.
that again. But I think Seattle's going to win, man. I just think they're going to win. I didn't think
Okay.
Seattle was this good. So
You
maybe
said that
that's
you were
why I
kinda
picked
having
the
some questions
Rams.
about that, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think Seattle was this good. But Sam Darnold's going to have a better game. I think the first game against the Rams, he threw 4 interceptions. So he's going to have to play better than he did. He's going to have to do more than he
Yeah.
did against San Francisco this past game. Let's just say
Yeah.
that. I think he's going
Well,
to have
hopefully
a better game.
that oblique injury that he has will allow him to do that. Because if not, they're gonna have to kinda stick to the same game plan they had and hope it works.
Yeah. Yeah. All
All
right.
right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this episode up here. We hope that you guys enjoyed it. Of course, if you haven't already, please go ahead and follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. That way you get updated whenever we upload an episode. And of course, it also helps us out as well. All right, we will catch you guys in the next one.
All right, y'all. Stay here till we get back.